It's time for some basketball! This is your one-stop shop for all slam dunks, 3 points, and dribble moves. Sit on down, crack a cold one, and get ready for some hoops. Yeah! Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of TNN NBA Tuesday Tip-Off. I'm your host, Matt King, and thank you guys so much for the warm welcome on my very first episode last week. Hundreds of thousands of our diehard fans said, yes, we want more NBA recap. We want more Matt King. And I don't blame you. So now that my show got picked up, I really had room to decorate and go all out with my set. So I hope you like the new additions. We got a new Larry Bird picture here. Basketball here, a very nice sign right here in case you forgot the name of the show already. Behind me we have a lovely Kevin Garnett t-shirt, and behind me as well we have a brand new NBA poster. I swear it's brand new, no old players on it at all. And next to that, an NBA height chart, not to scale. After an exciting first week, teams are back, teams are hot, and teams are ready. Let's see what's up in the Atlantic Division first. Philadelphia remains on top of the Atlantic, on top of the East as well, hankering on to a 5-1 record. Joel Embiid is continuing to prove why some call him the best center in the NBA. He's averaging 25 points per game and almost 13 rebounds a game too. New addition Seth Curry may have very well been the missing piece left for the 76ers team. He's averaging 16 points a game and has made some of the best plays throughout their past few games. Ben Simmons' numbers of 13.5 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists are good, but that's Ben Simmons we're talking about. Many think he hasn't developed into his role just quite yet, and these numbers say the same. It's important to note that Ben Simmons' shooting percentage is at a 50% so far, so why not just take some more shots, dude? And Ben Simmons really has nothing to lose. I mean, everyone in Philly around him is great, and the more Simmons shoots, the more points he'll score, and the more of a beast he will become, simply put. The rest of the Atlantic Division looks grim, and here's why. As much as it pains me to say this, the Celtics are fucking up. Sure, Kemba Walker's still out, no estimated return date just yet, but what we have is not doing enough. A 4-3 record so far, which could be a lot better had it not been for singular point differentials lost between the Pistons and the other teams. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are continuing to do as much as they can, averaging 27.5 and 24 points respectively, but I think Boston, at best, is a three-headed monster. No disrespect to Marcus Smart, defensive god, but we need Kemba Walker back. Fitting into his role nicely is Tristan Thompson. A big man presence has been what Boston has been lacking over the past few seasons, and Thompson has jumped in, averaging 9 points and 9 rebounds. Of course, there is a very long time to go in this NBA season, and there is hope for the Celtics, but Kemba Walker needs to come back, and either the NBA needs to get rid of the fourth quarter, or we need to start learning how to play the fourth quarter. Surprise, surprise, the Knicks are third in the Atlantic Division. Julius Randle, that's right, the Messiah of New York, also known as Julius Randle, stepping into his role big time for the Knicks. 21 points per game, 10.5 rebounds per game, and 7 assists for the big power forward. Not to mention a little help from Alec Burks scoring 20 points per game as well. Could this be the year Knicks fans have been waiting so long for? Only time will tell. One thing's for certain is the Knicks are in injury trouble right now, as over 6 players are on injury reserve. If the Knicks want to make a push this year, they're going to need to get those players healed up and ready for a great season. Behind the Knicks is the Nets. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are averaging 28 and 26 points per game respectively in Brooklyn, but still they have a losing record. Granted, they are a losing record by 1 game, but a loss is still a loss. Make that 4 losses are still 4 losses. Every loss by the Nets has been relatively close against teams who you wouldn't think would be able to beat them, but alas, anything goes in this season's NBA. If you need to point fingers, Spencer Dinwiddie is currently injured and is a crucial bench piece, but I doubt is the deciding factor in these games. Durant and Irving are averaging 28 and 26 points per game respectively. Maybe those numbers need to go up, or maybe DeAndre Jordan needs to average some more rebounds, eh? Moving on to the very sad-looking Toronto Raptors, who are 1-5. Every loss for Toronto has been very close, and I credit this to the team not really having that one big name that could just close out games, like some guy named Kawhi. Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry are both averaging 19 points a game, but neither of them are able to really put up those big numbers in the fourth and seal games. Not to mention a disappointing first few games by OG Anunoby, whose minutes numbers are way higher than his stat numbers. Many sources close to the Raptors say that the team's New Year's resolution was to win some more games. Hopefully that works out for them. Now let's move on to the Central Division. Central. A very close match. Pacers and Cavs are both at a 4-2 record atop the Central. Indiana has been doing a great job sharing the load between their young stars. Brogdon, Sabonis, and Oladipo all averaging 20 points per game. And Sabonis still on track to become a defensive monster, averaging 11 rebounds per game. Jeremy Lamb and TJ Warren still injured for the Pacers. When they come back, who knows how well this team will continue to do. And for the Cavaliers, things are looking great in Cleveland. Or should I say, Sexland. Colin Sexton and Darius Garland combined to make the new duo Sexland. Sexton is averaging 26 points a game, Garland is averaging 17 points per game, and both are making for a very fierce front court. And with 2 point guards comes 2 centers as Drummond and JaVale continue to shut things down defensively for Cleveland. Drummond, 14 rebounds, continues to out-average anybody else in the league. Garland is currently listed as day-to-day right now. Hopefully he makes a full recovery and continues to make Sexland great. Milwaukee sits in the middle of the division, continuing to play up and down, either winning by a lot or losing by a little. Giannis and Middleton are still finding their 1-2 punch together. Giannis averaging 23.5 points per game and Middleton averaging 20. Hopefully the team works out their ball sharing soon and either decides to continue to run with both or maybe just give Giannis every single touch, let him score 40 a night and lead your team to the finals. The Bulls have been on the uptick, winning 3 of their last 4, but still sitting at second to last in the division. No real star emerging in Chicago just yet, but Levine is averaging 22 points per game. We'll see what happens with Chicago this season. Lauri Markkanen and Satoransky still out for COVID-19 reasons. Hopefully they can return, be healthy again, and give Chicago a very healthy season. And at the bottom of the Central is Detroit, who should be winless, but they got lucky against the Celtics. You know it! Now moving on to the Southeast Division. Southeast. The Orlando Magic and the Atlanta Hawks both sit atop the division with 4-2 records. It's tough to say what's going on in Orlando so far. All I know is Vucevic and Terrence Ross are averaging 20 points per game, and they're not looking too bad defensively either. Trae Young continues to dominate with the Atlanta Hawks. Young is nearing 30 points per game and leading the Hawks to a great record. Hunter, Collins, and Bogdanovich are part of the Hawks' well-rounded team and pick up some of the pieces that a Young's 30 points leave behind. New pickups Rondo and Okongwu are both out currently, but when they return, look for a deep run by Atlanta. The Miami Heat are up and down this season and are desperately trying to get back to that magic we saw in the playoffs last season. The team looks all over the place, and Jimmy Butler is really nowhere to be seen. He's currently facing some injury trouble. Hopefully that all clears up for him, and hopefully Bam Adebayo can continue to increase his numbers. So far, he has 19 points per game and 8 rebounds. Frontcourt Hero and Dragic are averaging 15 points per game each. We'll see what happens with this Miami team further down the season. The Hornets are 2-4, but those 2 wins have come against Brooklyn and Dallas. Scary Terry Rozier continues to average some pretty good numbers, 23 points per game, while LaMelo is still trying to find his role, off to an 11 points per game start. There's a lot of great potential here in Charlotte. Who knows what will happen? I, for one, am not usually one to place bets on the Hornets. And at the bottom of the division lies Washington Wizards, who aren't looking that great. Sure, Bradley Beal's 30 points per game are nice, and Russell Westbrook's average of a triple-double is even better, but when you look at the rebounding numbers, things start to get scary. Apart from Westbrook's 13 rebounds a game, nobody else really gets close to that number. And that really starts to become apparent when you look at the team's schedule, as both of their wins have been very close and their losses have been very, very far. We all know rebounding wins games. Apparently Washington does not know that. Now moving on to the Western Conference with the Northwestern Division. Covid Gobert and the Utah Jazz sit atop the Northwest Division with a 4-2 record. Gobert has 16 points and is backing that up with 13 rebounds a game. And frontcourt Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell, averaging 20 points per game each, are looking scarier and scarier every game. Hopefully Covid Gobert plays it safe this season, and we have a good, healthy run by the Utah Jazz. Portland is currently 3 for 3, and McCollum and Lillard are starting to get back into the swing of things. So far, McCollum has 28 points per game for the season, and Lillard has 25. Portland is slightly lacking in defense, but centers Kanter and Nurkic are doing their best 8 rebounds and 7 rebounds per game respectively. The OKC Thunder is still a big question mark, only 2 wins so far in the season. Really no star power jumping out for this team. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads the team in points per game with 18 and 6 assists per game as well. Either the Thunder will put all of their chips in on Shai or try to balance out their team a bit to make a long run. The Nuggets and the Timberwolves are sitting at the bottom of the division. Power forward Michael Porter Jr. is currently out for the Nuggets, leaving Jokic to do all the defensive work by himself. Good thing Jokic is Jokic though, with a triple-double average for the season, 23 points per game, 14 assists and 11 rebounds. And unfortunately for Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns is out. Hopefully not for long though. Towns has been leading the game in points per game with 19 and rebounds with 11.5. Russell, Edwards, and Beasley are all doing their part, each nearing closer to 20 points per game. Not quite there yet though, but hopefully Minnesota can make up some due work in the absence of Towns. On to the Pacific Division. Pacific. Phoenix is sitting atop the division with a 5-2 record. Things seem to be firing on all cylinders for the Phoenix Suns, as their starting 5 are the most well-rounded in the NBA so far. Devin Booker is leading the team with 20.5 points per game, meanwhile Chris Paul is sitting at 13 points per game and 8 assists. Forwards Bridges and Johnson doing their part too, 15 and 13 points per game respectively, with Bridges averaging close to 6 rebounds a game. And DeAndre Ayton holding it down at the 5, 12 points per game and 11 rebounds per game. It's safe to say things are on fire for the Suns. Reigning champs, the Lakers, are continuing to roll on and picking up right where they left off last season. LeBron James, Anthony Davis proving that they are the perfect match for each other. James is averaging 24 points per game while Davis is averaging 23. And in the rebounding category, again it's James and Davis, 7 and 8 rebounds per game respectively. New pickup Marc Gasol is finding time on this very star-studded Lakers roster and in turn is averaging 6 rebounds a game. Currently the White Mamba himself, Alex Caruso, as well as KCP are injured for the Lakers, but they don't seem to mind and continue to roll on with wins. As for the LA Clippers, Kawhi Leonard has turned into a superhero. Leonard leads the team with 24 points per game and George follows him close behind with 23 points per game. The Clippers are at a 5-2 record as well, and 4 players on the team are averaging 6.5 rebounds per game or more. The Kings are 3 for 3, and it seems their young stars are trying to find their place. Front court De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield are off to a good start, but need to pick up the pace and find their roles more efficiently. Fox is at 21 points per game, Hield is at 16 points a game, and Harrison Barnes is at 16 points per game as well. The Warriors also sit at 3-3, and I think Steph Curry has finally woken up. Obviously, he watched my last video, saw me talk about the braids, and cut them off. Then, he proceeded to drop 62 points, a new career high. You're welcome, Steph Curry. While Curry has some good pieces around him, like Wiseman and Wiggins, he needs to realize he's the only star player left. And if he wants to catapult these Warriors to victory, drop 62 every night. Last but not least, the Southwest Division. Southwest. The Pelicans sit atop the Southwest Division, and Brandon Ingram is continuing to get better and better. 24 points per game, 7 rebounds a game, and 5 assists per game for the young forward. And if Brandon Ingram can keep this up, he's got my vote for most improved player this year. You heard it here first, folks. And Zion's looking a little better in his sophomore season, 20 points per game and 8 rebounds. Houston continues on a very questionable season, and to top it all off, James Harden listed as day-to-day. When he's not partying, Harden is managing to put up 37 points per game, backed by 11 assists. Newcomer John Wall stretching his legs a bit as well, 25 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. Christian Wood is beginning to make his presence felt in the NBA as well, 24 points per game and 11 rebounds per game for the young forward. Dallas is sitting at 2-4, and it's looking like Luka really misses his buddy Kristaps Porzingis. Luka's off to a great start, 25 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, but he's still missing a lot of star power. San Antonio Spurs struggling on defense, putting them at 2-4. DeRozan's 22 points are leading the team in scoring. Murray and Johnson are following close behind, but this team is going to need LaMarcus Aldridge back if they want to make a run. And sadly at the bottom, the injury-stricken Grizzlies. After an amazing first few games, Ja Morant is injured. His buddies Jaren Jackson Jr., Jonte Porter, and Justice Winslow are also injured. Shooting guard Dylan Brooks is trying to make up for the big losses, averaging 20 points per game, but no one can replace Ja Morant, especially after those first few games. And now, it's time for my honorable mentions of the week.
Honorable mentions of the week.
My first honorable mention goes to Nikola Jokic. I'm fairly certain nobody asked him to turn into a triple-double beast this year, but that's exactly what he did, and that's why he's my honorable mention for the week. My second honorable mention goes to Christian Wood. Apart from his double-double average, he's sitting at 2.5 blocks per game, good enough for second most blocks in the league. Comment below who you think should be on special watch this week. maybe they'll make it to my honorable mention for next week. And now, I'm going to pass it off to Chris King for Chris's Kick Picks. Hey everybody, Chris here with your picks of the week for Kicks. May I have the box, please? Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. This is the special box. I keep all the special stuff in there. Thanks for tuning in again. Here are my kicks for week number 2 in the NBA season. Starting up first, we got James Wiseman wearing the Nike Kobe AD mids. I really like what James Wiseman's doing with the Golden State Warriors, and these match the uniforms perfectly. I'm going to give him one thumb up because we got some more better candidates coming down the windpipe here in a second. So he gets one thumb up. You know, we're going to see some better ones, but I still like him. Julius Randle with the Nike Kobe 11 Sunsets. Julius Randle, that name sounds so familiar. Oh yeah, it reminds me of Marcus Smart because the Celtics didn't pick you, and that's the best thing they've ever done. So Julius Randle, best shoes I've seen him wear in a while. He get 2 thumbs up for those ones. The Sunsets, I like the colors. It's about the only good thing he's ever done since being drafted. Sucks that you broke your leg that year, huh? Oh well. Up next, Chris Middleton, the Nike Kobe 5s. Very cool. I like these. They definitely match the Bucks uniforms. Gold, white, very cool, very nice. I like these. 2 thumbs up. Next up, a little throwback from last week for Christmas because we didn't have enough time. Gordon Hayward rocking the Anta GH2s, his own signature from Anta. Very cool. I love the Christmas trees on the bottom and the blue. It says Hayward on the strap by the laces. We didn't have enough time to throw in these for Christmas, but I threw them in this week because I just liked them that much. 2 thumbs up. Next up, we got Adidas. Not too many people be rocking Adidas nowadays, but James Harden definitely did one here with the Volume 5. This looks like clown throw up. These are awful. This looks like some kid at school got their like black Vans on and somebody just threw up. Nosebleed, throw up, all kinds of shit just right on the shoe. Horrible. 2 thumbs down. Russell Westbrook with the Jordans. Why not 0.4? No, I'm serious. That's the name of the shoe. They look atrocious. There's so many different colors. I don't even know what's going on with it. Oh, wait. It reminds me of how many different teams you've played for because you're confused. 2 thumbs down. We're going to round things off with my favorite pick of the week, which you know are getting 2 thumbs way the fuck up. Paul George with the Nike 5s. These are classic. Black, gold swoosh, white on the bottom. I wish I owned a pair. Paul, can you give me some? Please? Nike? Anybody? Drake? Do I have to call Drake for Nike stuff? Drake. 2 thumbs up. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, thank you for tuning in to the TNN NBA Tuesday Tip-Off. I've been your host, Matt King, and I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of this NBA recap show. Make sure to stay subscribed to the CMFs channel so you're not blindsided when Tuesday comes by and you don't have any NBA news. I've been your host, Matt King. Make sure to wear your mask, be safe, stream the CMFs debut album on every streaming service, and have a good night.